What up, everybody? It's your boy, the Kryptonian Saiyan here, bringing you a review for One Piece Chapter 72. That ending, though, Zoro, mad chill, mad chill. I'm fucking with this right here. Zoro, how strong is this dude, man? They got the strength of 10 times that of a normal human. Zoro took all these dudes out, and you see it. He says, I promise Luffy I'd bring that girl back. And he opens up the panel by saying, I could walk out of here now, but I have a mission to accomplish. I promise Luffy I'd bring that girl back. She's definitely up to something fishy. Things could get dicey. And he's just sitting there with his hands behind his back, bandaged up, short sword is sheathed, sitting on his lap in Arlong's chair. This is huge, man. That is, when you say arrogant, that is arrogance times 10. I am loving that, and just the pun on words. She's definitely up to something fishy. You dice up fish, you cut them up. I mean, oh man, this was good, man. That ending made up for this whole chapter. It wasn't a bad chapter, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the chapter from seeing Usopp stand up to Arlong, to the philosophy that Genzo was talking about, resisting being a form of fighting back, to Nami, the revelation that she's only 7 million berries away from freeing up her village. All of that, but that ending just took everything to another level. Because of the symbolism behind that. Because that means that Luffy and his crew are about to free this village, because he is sitting on the throne or the chair of the dictator that's had it. You know, like that's huge. The symbolism behind that is good, because it means that the first mate is sitting down. Like, oh man, this is big, man. Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack now. So Arlong is in the village, and he's getting ready to start torturing Genzo, right? And that's when Nami's stepsister is telling Usopp, you know, he's gonna try and take over the whole East Blue. And then that's when Usopp says, damn, what's gonna happen to my village? And I think that's really what stirred Usopp into wanting to confront Arlong, because he has Kaya and Pepper and Onion and the other kid back there in the village, you know? And that's the village that his mom was from, like, well, his mom died on. That's the village that he's from. I mean, it was really nice to see Usopp just kind of stand up like that, you know? Like, I didn't expect his, I believe it's the Orange Star. Let's see. Shit, I don't remember the attack name. But I will say this, man. The Exploding Star. I didn't expect that to do anything, but at the same time, just watching him stand up, that was huge. That was huge. That means everyone in Luffy's crew, they have guts. They have that desire and that will to never give up. And it's those small things that make secondary characters so much more interesting, because Usopp is not acting according to the plot. You know, a lot of times when authors, or in this case mangakais, introduce these big cast of characters, it's really hard to develop them. And what I mean by develop is to have each of them independently have their own desires, hopes, and dreams, and to have them do things for themselves and not to further push the plot, if that makes sense. You know, if you don't quite get what I'm saying, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try and further clarify it for you. But this is good. This is the sign of a great writer right here, because every character has their own thing at stake. This is making for some great storytelling. Everything is being weaved in together, and Oda is in a very subtle way reaching back to prior arcs to where you can't forget them. This is great. This is going to be good for the character development of Luffy's crew. But I will say this. This was probably my second favorite moment of this chapter, okay? Usopp says, I am the fearless warrior of the seas. Usopp. And if you look, I mean, this dude right here, man, like, he's shaking. You can tell that he's afraid, but he's saying, they call me Usopp the Demon King, and kings tremble at the name. Flee now and live. I have 8,000 hardened killers behind me. And you can tell that Usopp is expecting that to work. But the thing is when you're dealing with people like Arlong, or when he pulled that on Luffy in the anime, and It happened in the manga too. But when he pulled it on Luffy in the anime, they kind of made it seem like Usopp, was getting ready to shoot, and Luffy was like, "Hey, if you're gonna shoot, you better be willing to do it, etc., etc." When you're dealing with guys who have real power, it takes more than just a threat or a bluff in order to gain their respect. Or to make them fear you. Like they have to see your power firsthand. And speaking of seeing your power, I'm just looking at this right here. Arlong is picking up a fucking house and flipping it. Like, you knew that he was powerful, and it makes sense that he's doing that because Usopp is on the top. He can just crush him in one fell swoop. I thought that was cool, but for me, because as you guys know, I have a Dragon Ball and a Naruto background. So for me, to watch him do that, it gives me a clear indication of where he's at on the power scale, because he's showing strength feats that are closer to that of early Dragon Ball Goku, when he turns into the Ozaru and he just starts destroying Pilaf's castle. That means that Arlong has the same destructive capability as Goku at that point. So I mean that was pretty cool just to see that, just at least in strength. And I know that there's probably more to come of this guy, but it gives me an idea where the power scales are. For me, that's nice, because I like dealing with numbers. That's nice. I have an idea where to kind of place this guy, but it's what happens after the fact. When Nami is walking through the village, and I was wondering, I was like, she's got some nerve to show herself in this village. Granted, it's after Arlong has already left, probably going back to his base where he's going to find Zoro's arrogant ass. But Nami is walking, and right there she says, "Hi, neighbors." And you can just see the smile on her face, and they're all saying Nami. And you got the ta-da, but right there, the doors are slammed and she's saddened. And right here we see her walking through the village and it's empty. And even her stepsister saying, "Hey, you're pretty brave for coming out here in broad daylight, And then that means that when Nami's been back in the village, or when she was working directly under Arlong, she didn't come out in daylight because people can't stand her. And it's made clarified. However, that's when we get this shot, and this is my favorite part of the chapter. She's saying 7 million berries to go, and I guess she's talking to the parent that she lost. And if you just look at all that, the way that she's smiling, that tells you right there, she's got great intentions. She hasn't lost sight of her goal. She's naive enough to think that Arlong is going to honor their agreement. And I think that that's nice. And I mean, it fits into the whole thing with Luffy and his crew and all that, because Luffy is naive. And that's one of the things that makes him such a great character to read. But with Nami, you can tell that that's the hope that she's holding on to, because when you're going through something, you just need something, anything, the smallest slimmer of hope to grab onto to see you through these rough periods. And so to see Nami doing that, that was huge. That was great for me, because as I'm watching that, I'm going, oh my God, all right, this is what's at stake for her. She's right there. So I could see Arlong going back on their agreement. But just to see that out of Nami, great writing. Great writing. I mean, you can tell Oda has taken time and psychoanalyzed every one of these characters before he wrote this shit out. This is really great. This is really great. I mean, the characters that come off very humanized. Really great. So I want to know right here, this is my chapter question. What impacted you the most out of this chapter? For me, it's a tie between Zoro sitting on Arlong's chair, like, yo, what up, man? Like, seeing that, and then just seeing Nami with that saddened smile, and she's taking all the hate of every one of the villagers because she's trying to free them. I'm leaning more towards that because it's deeper, but I love arrogant characters, and Zoro's arrogance I'm loving this shit. But guys, that's it for this review. If you liked anything I had to say, make sure you comment, rate, subscribe, and share. As always, I'll greatly appreciate it.